Welcome back, YouTubers, to Q&A 219 with us, the British Fist.
Coaching!
Same time, same place, same people, and same people asking us questions as well. We seem to be getting the same people asking us questions, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're new to this channel and you want to ask us some questions, you know, we're not massive YouTubers that are going to miss the questions in the comment section. We answer all our questions, don't we, NJ?
What's up?
Indeed.
And yet, we're not in the 619 area, we're in the 219!
We're actually in the PE1 area.
Yeah.
Also, don't try and track us down. I was lying. We're not really. We're PE2.
Yeah.
PE2. Anyway, yeah. If you want to ask us questions, continue doing so. Best place to do it is the comment section, as that is where I go to and order the questions on our Word document here. Usually do it chronologically too. So the earlier you ask it, the earlier hopefully we will answer it. Even though we have a hell of a lot of questions. Anyway, stop wasting time. Let's get on to these damn questions. RFE 089. Start off with a football-related question. So, NJ, you might want to fuck off. Mr. Parkin, do you think the argument being put out there by the sports media that Chelsea are not worthy winners of the Premier League and are boring and is complete and utter crap? The last time I checked, football is about winning, not who plays the most attractive football. And yes, they have not been good in the second half of the season, but they don't have to be, as a title challenge being put up by City, United and Arsenal has been incredibly poor. I very much agree. I mean, at the end of the day, it's who gets the most points, and however way you get that, it doesn't really matter, does it? If you play to your strengths, and if your strengths are grinding out results and putting clean sheets, etc., then you've got to play to your strengths. If you're a team like Barcelona and you want to play attractive football and that is your strength, then so be it. But I don't think there's anything wrong. And I don't think anyone else can say either that Chelsea didn't deserve to win the Premier League title that year either. So I totally agree with you. I think this whole boring part of the bus moniker, although it kind of annoyed me because the way they beat Man United last year, I do think it is utter crap, and they were by far the best team in the Premier League last season. That was reflected in how far they won the Premier League by. Question 2. What sells more? JR's barbecue sauce, Dolph Ziggler, or tickets for a TNA live event? Well, TNA live event isn't gonna. They struggle to sell any now. They don't even do live events anymore. So it's between JR's barbecue sauce, and Dolph Ziggler.
I think it's JR because he's not obviously in the WWE doing what he does best. He's off doing his own thing, and I'm sure him staying off his barbecue sauce with a bit of Stone Cold appearances now and again, he's doing just fine.
JR's Stone Cold barbecue sauce. Yeah, it doesn't quite have the ring to it, but there you go. Dolph Ziggler, though, I mean, he does sell a lot. I mean, he doesn't exactly sell money, but he does sell a lot in the ring. So I'm going to go Dolph Ziggler.
And he's popular with the divas, it seems like. He's always got a diva next to him or some female manager.
Yes, and what has that ever done for Dolph Ziggler?
A lot.
I'm going to list a number of guys in WWE, and I want you to tell me whether you think they will win the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns, yep.
Yes.
Dean Ambrose.
I think in a couple of years.
Perhaps.
He's won it once. He's won it once, technically.
Perhaps. I think there is a chance. I don't have my heart set on it, though. Bray Wyatt. Again, I don't think he's one of those characters that really needs to win the championship. I mean, perhaps down the line if they want to, but I think he's just one of them characters where they just don't need to, because just because of his character.
I think Dean Ambrose will win it before him.
Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens?
Yes, he'll have to, because of his build and who he's faced already. I think it's going to happen, yeah.
Somewhere down the line, I mean, you'd think he would have to, judging by the way he's been built so far,
has to.
You'd have Cesaro. No, I don't see Cesaro ever winning it.
This recent push he's getting, I think it's only because of Tyson Kidd's injury. I don't think the WWE had plans to put Cesaro further, but with Tyson Kidd being out of the picture, Cesaro's left as a singles competitor, I think he's going to be one of the last ones to win it. But I think in a couple of years, I think the WWE, if the push does continue, I'd say yes, but not for a while yet.
No, I don't see them ever giving him the championship, to be honest. I really don't. And Neville, again, no. The only way he's ever going to get the belt is if he wins Money in the Bank by chance.
I'm sorry about this. You don't watch Raw, Mr. Parkin,
well,
Dan, but
I did watch NXT.
He faced Seth Rollins again, and he was this. The ref almost counted to 3 on him. We thought he won. So I think he could do it if the WWE wanted to take that risk, but because of his build and how Vince feels of those kind of guys, he won't. But the fact he almost beat Seth Rollins,
which is ridiculous. I mean, let's face it. I mean, to have a guy like Seth Rollins struggling to defeat Neville and needing what happened to have him beat Adrian Neville I believe that was for the WWE Championship. Again, it just and this guy is keeping the championship against Brock Lesnar. Will probably keep the championship against John Cena. Beat Randy Orton clean. Cashed in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania to pin Roman Reigns, and yet he's struggling to beat Neville. Again, where's the sense in that? Just saying. Paul Erickson Alejandrino. What is WWE's problems with first and last names? I think they do the first and last name because they think that it makes them relatable to the WWE audience. I mean, I don't mind first and last names, but I think they need to get to a point where they do need to allow some characters to stand out, and one of those ways is by changing their name a little bit or the gimmick. I mean, you look at The Undertaker, you look at Kane, you look at people like that. They're kind of, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, or The Rock, not exactly first and last names, but they were made to stand out more because the name matched the gimmick in a way.
Well, to be honest, I think they're still not doing the greatest with first and second names, but when you hear a wrestler winning a match, they don't say, here's your winner, Ambrose. They say, Dean Ambrose. So I think they're doing okay with first and second name, but obviously you have noticed some don't get, like Neville, yes. But,
or Ryback, or Cesaro. They are trying to... They're taking out some first names because they think that they don't sound tough, like Big E Langston. They just made him Big E, which sounds a bit tougher. Antonio Cesaro to Cesaro. Finn Balor, they'll probably change to Balor or something. Who really knows? Now that the New Day turned heel, what are your thoughts on it? Well, they're getting, as far as I've seen, they've been getting a pretty good push until they lost the tag team championships to primetime players. I don't think that gimmick really worked as faces anyway in this kind of day, so I'm actually glad they turned them heel.
The heel thing needed to happen, but when they turn heel, it's changed nothing for the tag team division. It's still dead. It's still not exciting. Yes, you've got New Day in the right face heel kind of area, but it's not changed a thing.
What was your favourite WWE feud ever? Mick Foley, Triple H, 2000, the match they had at Royal Rumble, and also the match they had at No Way Out again. That's probably my favourite WWE feud ever. Especially seen as it's one that I actually watched and experienced at the time.
Triple H, Shawn Michaels, or Triple H and The Rock.
Why is that?
Again, they've just put on great matches. The friendship between Triple H and Shawn Michaels, then breaking down to get the best of each other in the match they did was great. Rock and Triple H, you could put them in a match, and like Mick Foley, the match is going to be great.
During that 2000 era, yeah, they were the two top guys in the company, and they did have a hell of a feud. I think one of my favourite matches actually was The Rock actually defeating Triple H at Backlash, I believe. You like The Rock. What are your thoughts on the Elimination Chamber returning on May the 31st? Well, it's happened already, and as a special event, I don't know why they ever had it return, but they basically did it because they wanted to try and encourage people to get the free month of the WWE Network, essentially, didn't they? And make some kind of special event. It was like one of those pay-per-views, they were like 2 weeks kind of special events they did.
It's going to be hard for me to compliment the WWE having the Elimination Chamber as a pay-per-view. I'm one of the fans that think the structure, the match type was a speciality, not really a giveaway every year thing. So to bring it back, yeah, it's all about doing what they can to make the network grow, but no.
I mean, it was kind of pointless. I mean, they had a tag team Elimination Chamber, an IC title Elimination Chamber. What did they have a WWE? No, WWE Championship was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, wasn't it?
There's a first time for everything, but I did not really like the idea.
If they're going to do it like that, I mean, you do it as a the Elimination Chamber needs to be the main event and the big match. Now, wasn't there an Elimination Chamber with Roman Reigns in it, or like a #1 contendership? Probably, I don't know. I can't remember. I didn't watch it.
My mind's gone blank, but all
well, that proves how memorable it was.
Yes.
Which wrestler would you prefer? Good in the ring but bad on the mic, or good mic skills but bad ring skills?
You've got the two different kinds of fans here.
You've got sports entertainment fans and hardcore wrestling fans. This is a tough one because I'm of the opinion that a wrestler can be good in the ring but bad on the mic, but improve on the mic, like a Seth Rollins, for example. But I'm also a big believer of a wrestler having good mic skills and being able to tell a good story, such as John Cena, but, improve their ring skills over time. So I don't really have a preference here, but I think that it's one of those things where I would take either one of those, but I believe they could improve. But if that wasn't the case, I'd probably say good in the ring, but bad on the mic, because at least if they're good in the ring, the pay-per-view matches will be somewhat entertaining, but the build-up would probably be rubbish.
For a while now, people have been saying good wrestling does not really create a good show. With me, we're watching WWE. You have the exciting storylines, but also to see our favourite wrestlers wrestle. So if I had to pick one, I'd prefer to see quality wrestling and for them to be bad on the mic if I had to choose a preference.
If the question would have been good storytelling or good wrestling, you'd say good storytelling, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Like, character, good mic work, reference to the great YouTuber there. You'd pick that. So that's my two sort of backup points to that question. Robert Hernandez. If Stone Cold did end up wrestling Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania, I imagine you're thinking at WrestleMania 18 here. How do you think it would have changed? I don't really think it would have changed much, to be honest.
You said his name.
Yeah, I did say his name. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not WWE trying to eliminate Hulk Hogan from history and having Andre the Giant trip his way to a loss at WrestleMania 3.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, Hulk Hogan probably wouldn't have turned babyface because the fans wouldn't have been as against The Rock as they were at that pay-per-view. So it maybe would have led to the NWO continuing onwards, and whether whether or not that would have been an improvement or not, I don't know, because the babyface Hulk Hogan did prove to be a big success for WWE at the time. Even if the title win did kind of flop, but he was a pretty good asset to have in the company to go up against the younger guys. But that's the big question: would the NWO have been more successful, or would Hogan as a babyface, how he was he more successful?
I think the Hogan Austin, I think I would prefer that. I think keeping the NWO there, keeping them as the heel-like faction they were, instead of breaking them up in such an awkward way, just so Hogan can go on and do his singles run and stuff. I felt that Austin would have been better to keep that going, but at the same time, taking nothing away from Rock and Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, it is a moment in history, and I think Hulk Hogan would have been a moment in history in itself. Griefer Beyond 21. So it's official that Kevin Owens will face John Cena, or has faced John Cena at the Elimination Chamber special event. Are you surprised of Kevin Owens getting this push? Now, was this when Kevin Owens defeated John Cena?
I don't think it was Chamber.
Or was this where John Cena defeated Kevin Owens? I can't really remember.
My mind's slipping, but I think this was when John Cena got the one when we were predicting that Cena was going to lose.
How about, were you surprised that Kevin Owens got this push? Because I mean, I wasn't necessarily, because I thought he was the kind of guy that could flourish on the WWE roster, and they were really running out of contenders, legitimate contenders for that US Championship. So in a way, I wasn't too surprised, especially after the first night of when they booked him. I wasn't necessarily surprised that he beat John Cena the first time. I just thought that over the whole feud that he would have benefited a lot more than he actually did.
Thing is, again, my memory's maybe thinking of the wrong pay-per-view. Maybe this is when Kevin Owens won.
Possibly.
Forgive me. It was a great match nevertheless. But I feel that Kevin Owens needed to continue looking great because he's got the look, He had the mic work. He was an NXT star that needed, in my opinion, to go further to prove he's a man of his word. And it's just a shame that the WWE thought different during the feud.
Yeah, Kevin Owens did defeat John Cena at Elimination Chamber, so this was the first match.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. When will Hideo Itami use the GTS? He'll probably use it when he wins the NXT Championship from Finn Balor at some point in the future.
I'm surprised that the WWE are not banning this move, but they want to reuse it after the whole Punk thing, you know. I thought they would just scrap the move.
Kenta Hideo Itami was the original person who did the GTS. So, you know, that's in that way, he is the original person that did it, not CM Punk. I know CM Punk is most famous for doing it in the American wrestling industry, but it was actually Kenta, aka Hideo Itami, that did it. So I don't have a problem with him, as he was the originator of the move.
If the WWE see it in that way, I think when he steps up to the main roster, I think Vince has control, so maybe Vince won't like it, but I think he will use it, hopefully, when he comes up.
It would make for a very special moment, especially when and if he does eventually win the NXT Championship against, which you imagine would have to happen against Finn Balor.
Yes.
Down the line when he's back from his injury. Michael Murray. If you guys are losing interest in the current product, will you still be around on YouTube? Just please don't turn so miserable like the Schleg Daddy. You can't watch that guy anymore.
Gosh, wrestling's so rubbish. WWE sucks. I can't stand it when I watch. No.
Okay, look, I just want to say something here. With regards to the Schleg Daddy, yes, I do think he's moaning quite a lot. And I do think he's a little bit miserable with regards to the WWE product. But I think when you've been a fan as long as he has, and when you have the expectations that he has lived through throughout his wrestling fandom, you kind of get to the point where you just it just isn't as good as it used to be, and it isn't as good as what he probably thinks it should be or what he's probably used to. I mean, with my theory on this is that, like, if you're really losing interest with the WWE product, then just stop watching it. I mean, that's what I did, and I'm a lot better off for it. Maybe the Schleg Daddy is making a fair amount of money from the videos, or maybe he is enjoying making the videos. Maybe it's a way of, you know, passing the time or a hobby for the Schleg Daddy. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. But no, I mean, we are just doing these Q&As because they're fun and they give us a way to interact with you guys, not to mention it gives us a way to talk about the current products and news items and stuff like that in a more sort of informal, unstructured way. And I find it a lot better like that, to be honest. Do you have anything to add?
I'm not going to speak on the words of Jeff, because yes, I think that he should be one of the people who takes a break. Yes, he might be earning money from it, but I think if he's going to complain and make fans like you not want to watch him, or he's complaining all the time, I think him taking a break, coming back, yeah, it will still be just as bad possibly, but at least we've had a refreshing time. But with us, yeah, I'm going to admit, I hate saying this out loud, and I hate even thinking this, but I'm really not enjoying the WWE product as much as I was trying to and I want to. But I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. You may still see topical videos and stuff, but right now, I prefer not to be one of the people who come on and be negative 3/4 of the video and throw in a compliment or two at the end.
And again, with me, it got to the point where I got tired of giving an opinion on wrestling. I just wanted to, if I was going to watch it, I just wanted to have an opinion and not, you know, put it out there. I just wanted to be a fan rather than an analyst, sorry. So, and I just want to make it perfectly clear that me and NJ do have a lot of respect for the Schleg Daddy. So, you know, we're not dissing him here. We're not, you know, it's not like we're enemies,
no,
we're dissing each other. We're just, you know, we're just giving our honest opinion. Next question. Are Raw still drawing Sorry, I'll start again. Are Raw still drawing high numbers? It's hard to believe they are, since NXT is the focus these days. I really wish they would let the NXT crew take over Raw. Will this eventually happen if Vince croaks it one day? I mean, Raw are still drawing. They're still drawing good numbers. I mean, they're still drawing. I mean, the ratings aren't great, but they're still drawing 3 to 4 million viewers every week. Sometimes over 4 million. So it's not as bad as we think it is, especially considering it is a 3-hour show. As for NXT taking over Raw, I don't know about that.
It's a popular question, and when we answered it last time, we said that eventually Vince is going to fade away, and that is when Steph or Triple H will step up. If that means Steph takes over the Raw and SmackDown, Triple H stays with NXT, or whatever they're going to do, it is going to happen.
I mean, they can have elements of NXT in there. Obviously, you know, NXT is very good in ring, and that appeals to the hardcore fans. But at the end of the day, you need to appeal to as many people as you can, not just hardcore fans. And I'm sorry, but kids. A lot of casual fans out there probably won't get much excitement out of NXT because, I mean, let's face it, there's not very many storylines or very many interesting or diluted storylines on there. You know, I liked it because it was just a very simple, a very focused show, whereas Raw just didn't really seem to have much about it. And if they do, let's say, improve Raw, and if they do put elements of NXT in there while also improving the storytelling aspect of Raw, then that will improve Raw. Not just saying, let's just let the NXT crew take over. I don't think that is the answer at all. I think the problems with WWE has always been getting people interested, and that is to do with the storylines and the mainstream publicity they aren't able to, you know, really get out there these days.
Well, in defence to that, I think if NXT, because you hear Triple H always saying NXT is going to continue to grow, expand, get bigger and better. So if they ever do get their second hour, if they ever do, I think we will be getting more mic work, storyline aspect. But because of the hour, they want to get as much as they can involved. So I think if NXT gets a trial period of 2 hours to add in storyline, mic work, I think we can be a better judge on the future of NXT going to bigger event like Raw and SmackDown.
But I mean, the thing is with NXT, it's essentially a developmental show.
It is.
So if you introduced an NXT format to let's say a 2-hour show, and if you introduced it to, let's say, the main roster, then perhaps they could do more with it, and they could do more storylines and etc. But the NXT product itself is essentially a developmental product, which is why we're not seeing as many storylines and promos, etc. So there's that aspect as well. I'm going to move on from this question because we can talk about this all day, and I want to answer your last question before we leave this Q&A. Would WCW have been a better product if they had just focused on WCW? Would it still be around today? Same with TNA. These promotions need to concentrate on their own identity. Look at Global Force, for example. I haven't seen much, but there's a wrestling promotion out there. We need more promotions like this and more alternatives. Too many companies try to be like WWE. It's sad that they don't have that much confidence in themselves to think otherwise. Well, it's because a lot of these companies are just so far behind. And if they're going to get to WWE's level, which is going to be virtually impossible given the WWE's brand equity and their brand strength and the amount of times the amount of years they've been there and the talent they have and the money they have and the financial development they have and the people they have there. Again, you can create your own identity, don't get me wrong, and that can bring in a certain amount of fans, but it's not going to put them on the level of a WWE or be a competitor for WWE. They can have a go. I mean, shows like Lucha Underground have done it. I wasn't a fan of it, but I know people out there are a fan of it. ROH did it at one point. I know we weren't necessarily fans of it, but there were people out there that were fans of it. I know TNA tried to have their own identity at one point, but they kept sort of lurching in as a WWE light, and they could definitely have done a lot better with that. But it's gonna. I don't really know whether this answers your question, but it's impossible now for a company to have its own identity and really go in competition with WWE. But they can obviously do it, just not to the point where they could be a WCW like they were back then and really, compete with WWE in that sense.
Well, I think the WCW I can't speak much for, but for TNA, I think them trying to concentrate on their own, I think we've been firing loads of ideas that TNA need to do, marketing stuff. So yes, I do think TNA need to concentrate on their own instead of trying to find storylines or at least wrestlers to compete with the WWE. They need to concentrate on what's going to make them bigger and better. Bring Global Force. I think with the worry of TNA going out of business, they need a backup plan somehow. So combining may save them in some capacity. So I think, yeah, just concentrate on your own instead of trying to outbeat things going on within the WWE.
But answering your question, would WCW have been a better product if they had just focused on WCW? Would it still be around today? I don't think so, because they were making big losses, and that's not very good. That isn't very good if you're trying to advertise yourself to TV companies. They had the Ted Turner money, and as soon as Ted Turner, who was a massive fan of wrestling, let's not forget, and really wanted to go against Vince McMahon and really bankroll that WCW foundation or WCW product and WCW TV show, you know, again, going back to it, as soon as that merger happened, it just ended, and that was unfortunate, but that's just the way it was. Would it still be around today? Again, I don't think so. The way the company was run, in a combination of that and the actual losses that they were making, would lead me to believe that it wouldn't be around today. But there you go. That has been another quite long Q&A, a lot longer than usual, but we wanted to answer these last couple of questions in as much detail as we could. Didn't we, NJ?
We did, Mike. Oh, close. I almost said the N-word. Oh. Anyway, people, thank you very much for watching.
And if you ever watch a previous British Fist video, watch out, because it will only be me talking, and an invisible guy will be talking beside me.
And thank you very much for watching. This has been tragic news that WWE don't know who the Hulkster is anymore. And from Mr. Parkin,
My homie.
all right, Goodbye.